Hey there, Detroit sports fanatics, and welcome to Taylor's Detroit Sports Show. Episode 26 through 27 combined. I'm Taylor Phillips. We're going to talk a little bit of Tigers here. We're going to recap their 5-2 win over the Pittsburgh Pirates. Joe Nathan apologizing for flipping the bird at the fans. Flipping the chin at the fans, that is. Previewing the Tigers-Mariners series in Detroit and the Red Wings signing Ken Holland to a 4-year contract extension. Dave Hogg writes, Scherzer K's 14, Tigers beat Pirates 5-2. Thursday, the Tigers and the fans were back on the same page. On a perfect afternoon for baseball, Max Scherzer made everyone forget about the team's offensive woes, the struggles in the bullpen, and the fact that 40% of the best starting rotation in baseball is currently injured. Scherzer thrilled his teammates and the sold-out crowd of 41,986 with a dominant performance that added another line to his resume for a second straight American League Cy Young Award. He allowed 3 hits in 8 shutout innings, striking out a season-high 14 batters and making a decent Pittsburgh offense look helpless. Pirates manager Clint Hurdle said, quote, he pitched like a Cy Young Award winner. The volume of pitches that he can throw and command is impressive. I think there are 29 more teams in baseball that would be happy to have the guy at the top of their rotation, unquote. Scherzer has been brilliant for the last 6 weeks, but just to make things more miserable for opposing hitters, he's added a new weapon to his arsenal. Brad Ausmus, the Tigers manager, quoted, Scherzer has always had a really good curveball that he could locate on the outside corner to lefties, but now he has been working on a harder curve that he can throw inside. When he's got that going, it makes him even better, unquote. That's hard to imagine, but whatever he's doing, it's working. After Thursday's masterpiece, Scherzer is 6-1 in his last 10 starts, dating back to June 22nd. Scherzer's correct in that win-loss record for a pitcher can be very misleading, so how about this? In those 10 starts, he's pitched 70 2/3 innings with a 1.78 ERA and 85 strikeouts as opposed to only 52 hits. Scherzer said, quote, I had everything working today. I was able to throw everything to both sides of the plate, and I could put my curve down and in, which makes me a lot more effective. Right now, I've got things going really well, unquote. As well as Scherzer pitched, the Tigers were still having trouble putting up runs. When he left to a standing ovation at the end of the time, driven in both runs, one on a fifth inning homer, a home run, and the second on a bases loaded walk in the 6th. That meant Ausmus was going to have to consider putting Joe Nathan into the game for the 9th, 18 hours after he had infuriated Detroit fans with a rude gesture after being booed Wednesday night. Nathan apologized before Thursday's game, as I mentioned before, but it would have been a tense situation. Brad Ausmus quoted, Joe knows that what he did was unacceptable and he's embarrassed by it. It's going to be uncomfortable the first time he pitches here, but he's going to have to pitch at some point, and it might be better to have it gotten over with as quickly as possible, unquote. Ausmus, though, ended up not having to make the decision because Nick Castellanos keyed an 8th-inning rally with a 2-run single to give the Tigers a 5-0 lead. That meant Phil Koch came in to pitch the 9th, and although he got his share of boos after allowing a 2-run homer to Gabby Sanchez and pitching only a third of an inning, Jabba Chamberlain was able to finish the game without further excitement. That included the second out was a fly ball caught on a diving attempt by Torrey Hunter, and then a ground out to Ian Kinsler, who cut it off as it went in, as it tried going into the shift, as the ground ball trying to go slowly into the shift, and that ended the game. So the Tigers have won 2 in a row. And have scored 26 runs in their last 5 games. So, if you fans think the offense is still in that bad of a slump as they recently were, you're wrong. And Alex Avila had been red hot as of late until the past Thursday in the 5-2 win. And before Scherzer got the win, Chamberlain got the save. He's 3 out of 5 in save opportunities. And Scherzer ties Mickey Lolich with 14 strikeouts and giving up just 3 hits. First to do that since Mickey Lolich. So, with that out of the way, Joe Nathan apologized to the fans before the game, and here's what he had to say.
Is that intentional to the fans? Or?
I forgot to use Head and Shoulders in my beard. I was a little itchy. No, just I think both sides were frustrated. You know, I was frustrated. Fans obviously were frustrated. Yeah, I think for myself, you know, I apologize for that, but you know, I have 2 kids, and I need to be a better example for them. Thank God they're still young enough that they won't know about this, but you know, I do know, and I do need to be better for that. And
said he's got 2 kids. Matt Derry from Detroit Sports 105.1 said that Joe Nathan pulled a Prince Fielder saying that. But my counterpoint to that comparison to Prince Fielder is, everybody's got kids to take care of, and every athlete has kids to take care of. You want to make your kids proud. As a Major League Baseball player, and I'm going to continue on with more of his speech.
And I know both sides are frustrated. But the thing is, we're on the same page. The fans want to win, want us to win. We obviously want to win. So, I do apologize for that. But again, we're on the same page here. We're trying to accomplish the same things, and unfortunately, this incident happened.
What's your level of frustration right now with the fans in this town?
Listen, there's no hard feelings, there's no frustration towards them. I know when they're behind this team 100%, and they want, like I said, they want us to get to the same place, and they want us to get to the postseason, and I know they want us to go out there and be perfect every time. I wish it was that easy too, but this game isn't easy. Sometimes you're going to go out and have struggles, and the thing is, I don't feel like I have been struggling lately. I think it's gone pretty well, and sometimes when you walk a guy and frustration comes out on there, and trust me, I'm just as frustrated. I'm not out there trying to walk guys or trying to do this, but I'm trying to win games, period. I don't care how it gets done, and like I said, we're on the same page. I think we're it's just one of those things right now where I think fans just have a short leash on how they want me to go out the pitch. I think they have a perception of how it should go, and if it doesn't go exactly that way, they get frustrated. Understandable. So, like I said, we both want to win. We both want to get to the same goal, and that's to get to the World Series. That's what we're trying to do here, and so I do understand their frustrations, and I apologize for my absence.
Is this fan base any more harsh than other fan bases you've been around in your opinion, in Minnesota, Texas?
I think just expectations. Expectations of our team, expectations of what you guys have put on us for expectations. I think that all goes hand in hand on what the fans expect from this ball club, and because of that, there will be an expectation to go out and be as good as we can be. Like I said, unfortunately, this happened, and both sides were frustrated, but like I said, I do apologize for my actions. I want to put it behind us as quick as we can and move on to what's important, and that's winning games.
Are the expectations unfair?
Are they unfair? No. I mean, this. We know what we expect. We expect that from us as well. I mean, we know we have talent in here, and we go through stretches where we aren't playing the way we like to. I think this kind of coincided with how we've been playing the last few weeks too. So, like I said, I'm going to be better for my kids. I'm going to be a better example for them, and this is something that's never happened to me, and I feel bad for that. I want to be a better person for that, and better leader for my kids, and someone they can look up to. So I apologize to them as well.
Joe Nathan, ladies and gentlemen, and that was very well spoken of him. He wants to be better for his kids and better for the fans as well. And the fans and Joe Nathan and the Tigers, like he said, are back on the same page. See, before that apology, Joe Nathan this year had been vilified not only for his blown saves, but the things that he said about the fans overall this year thus far. They weren't that badly harsh, but they were a bit harsh. But I guess that was why Brad Ausmus decided to, and Joe Nathan have agreed to make Brad Ausmus decide to go with Java Chamberlain in the ninth inning after Phil Koch gave up that 2-run home run to Gabby Sanchez with 1 out. But even with that win, the Tigers still stay in second place of the American League Central Division, a half game behind the Kansas City Royals, who rallied to beat the Oakland Athletics 7-3 at Kauffman Stadium. Tigers welcome the Seattle Mariners into town Friday at 7:08, and for the Royals, they travel to Minnesota and take on the Twins at 8:10. Both the Tigers and Royals start a 3-game series separately. Rick Porcello will get the nod for the Tigers, 13-7 with a 3.11 ERA. He'll be taking on James Paxton, 2-0 with a 2.38 ERA. Interesting starting pitching matchup there. Tigers also recalled right-handed pitcher Melvin Mercedes from the AAA Toledo Mud Hens. And former Tiger Austin Jackson will return to Detroit as a Seattle Mariner. First 2 games of the 3-game series will start at 7:08 Friday and Saturday, and then Sunday's game will start at 1:08. All games will be televised on Fox Sports Detroit and aired on 97.1 The Ticket in Detroit, WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 in Detroit. I read out loud Victor Martinez's comments last time in episode 25 of my show. So there were a couple Tigers that fired back at the fans. Most people would say. But Victor Martinez didn't even intend to fire back. He was just trying to tell them that the Tigers are doing their best and they'll try to do better. And I agree with them on that. I agree with Victor on that. Taking a look at the wild card standings. The Seattle Mariners had yesterday off, and the Tigers won, so the Tigers are ahead of the Mariners by a half game for the second wild card spot. Tigers are 5 games behind the Angels for the first wild card spot. Detroit is 65-54. The LA Angels of Anaheim are 70-49. The Mariners are 65-55. Tigers and Mariners matchup should be a very, very important matchup to see who rides the momentum in the American League wild card standings. For the rest of the season. The Pirates are also in the second wild card spot in the National League. Just a half game behind the St. Louis Cardinals for the first wild card spot, and a half game ahead of the San Francisco Giants for the second spot. Very tight race in both leagues. For that. Again, I apologize. So sorry. Let's move on to some Red Wings news. The Red Wings have signed general manager Ken Holland to a 4-year contract extension. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. The good part of it is that Ken Holland has generally managed the Red Wings to 23 consecutive seasons that they made the Stanley Cup playoffs. But the bad thing about it, signing Ken Holland to the extension, is the last 5 years the Red Wings have failed to make it to the conference final. But Michael Samuelson, Todd Bertuzzi, and Jordan Tutu are all gone. Daniel Cleary has re-signed with the Wings, and so has Kyle Quincy. Most fans might not enjoy that as much. Danny DeKeyser feels confident he'll sign with the Wings on a long-term extension. Says he has no problem with that. And Ken Holland said he'll try to re-sign Daniel Alfredsson. Daniel Alfredsson has to do some skating exercises before making a decision. So that's all I have for episodes 26 and 27 combined of Taylor's Detroit Sports Show at Taylor's Detroit Sports on Spreaker. I will return for episode 28 of Taylor's Detroit Sports right after game one of the Tigers-Mariners series in Detroit. Again, that game will start at 7:08. Same for tomorrow's game. Same for Saturday's game. Sunday's game will start at 1:08. All games televised on Fox Sports Detroit, 97.1 The Ticket, and the Detroit Tigers Radio Network in Detroit. Until we meet again, this is Taylor Phillips saying TTFN, ta-ta for now.